Oh, man. I realized I didn't even mute my mic. I was just doing my thing there. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. Where is it? Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It's so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is June 25th, 2024. We're going to write a little bit of code today. Jens, getting us started here.
Jens Woes just resubscribed for 31 months. Hello, Fritz and chat.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much. Let's go. And I'll make a donation. I still haven't spent the time doing the research to a tech charity. Thank you so much for that support. Let me scroll through. My goodness, folks are here early, getting things started. Look at all this. Thank you so much, friends. Apollo, good morning to you. Reg 9K, greetings to you. C Sharp Titan, good evening. Hope you're doing well in Australia. Napalm's here. Good morning. Hello, Enyo Phase in the Philippines. Hope you're having a good evening. Excuse me. Thindall, hello, hello. Welcome in. We're doing well. Had a nice weekend. Spent it visiting West Virginia University. Got to spend a bit of time there, getting a few things done, not going to lie, while the daughter was at band camp, practicing, rehearsing, getting ready for the fall. So, yeah, had a good time. Napalm with a question here to get us started right up here. Starting to write some integration tests for something I'm working on. Does anyone have any experience writing integration tests? Huh? Anything prevalent in the industry for .NET-based integration testing? You're leaning towards test containers and spec flow. So even when you do use something like test containers or spec flow, right, you're thinking more of behavior-driven development for that type of testing, that type of integration testing. What you're going to find is you still need to write scripts, and you still need to do things to automate interactions with a website, with your user interface. Playwright is fabulous for this. It's a second level of testing that happens after your unit testing. Behavior-driven development tools can help you with that. Test containers can certainly help get you set up and with a standard set of databases and configurations so that you are using real tests. You are using a real configuration. It's just you've seeded the configuration. All good things to get you started and point in the right direction. I really like the idea of that that Gherkin language that they call it, the given when then syntax for your behavior driven test structures, because that's a syntax, that's a language structure that is very clear and easy to share with your analysts, with your project managers, who don't need to know all of the nonsense, the stuff that's going on at the low level inside our code. I don't think it knows this had. So I really like that behavior-driven development language format for your testing. So, Chris Jones, hello, good to see you. RL Wakefield, how's my new mixer working out? How's it sound now? And how does it sound now? Possible Charity, Child's Play Charity. I'm familiar with them. Not too bad. Yeah. You love the smell of burnt code in the morning. High tech redneck. Hello. You made that annoyance thingy yesterday. String, substring, or shorter. How's that annoying? What's annoying about that? Yep. This is a Tron hat. So, Azure function background related and API related. So no UI. WireMock. Yeah, that's a good one. Enyo Phase. Yep. A Playwright does have the ability to test APIs. WireMock is something that's going to get you a little bit closer to that. And if you're testing something that is more API focused like that, you're going to go back into unit testing tools anyway. Doing an if on the string length every time you run substring. Yeah. what was it? There was a question back there. Oh, about the Tron hat. You want me to review your code? Give me 1 second. I thought I had this on Custom Vision. Let me just check to see if the hat's there. The factor codes are still available for folks that are interested in checking that out. So I'll leave that on the screen for one final stream. I am not streaming tomorrow because Thursday I'm going to be teaching the Let's Learn.net Aspire class on the Microsoft channels. This is one of our monthly workshops that's very much a pre-scripted, pre-canned workshop. You know, though, I'm not going to go pre-scripted. You know I'm going to do Q&A and talk to chat and answer questions. So I wrote the workshop. Our friends James Montemagno and John Galloway helped write the content, the script a little bit. No, it doesn't have this hat. So that is being scripted. You're going to be able to find that content. There's a blog post about it. I'll show that here in just a second. Let me let it get the pictures here. So, and then we'll do that code review that you requested there. So I think so tomorrow I'm not going to be broadcasting. Thursday I'm going to, if I do live stream here, it'll be shorter because I need to get ready for that live session. Mixer sounds great. The audio sounds good coming through. Fantastic. Thank you, R.L. Wakefield. I appreciate the check-in on that. So I think there's going to be a lot of folks because tuning in for this Aspire session, because unlike my streams on the Microsoft channels and my streams here, the marketing department actually is getting behind this and promoting it. Like, what's going to be interesting is to see exactly how many people tune in for a Jeff Fritz session when it's actually promoted. Most of you get the notice that, hey, look, Fritz is streaming, let's go tune in, that kind of thing. The ability for me to reach outside our community is not too great. So I've definitely got more interest coming in on C# in the cards. I've got that on my to-do list. I've got guests I'm inviting to join us here on this stream. I have videos folks have said, you know what, we should do 3 to 5 minute videos showing here's how Aspirify.net was built, and show some of that, some of the decisions that went into that. So all things coming up, that content I'm going to be planning, writing, building over the next 2-3 months while things are quieter here over the summer. Let me head over. Let's do the Custom Vision AI loading up of this hat, and then we'll take a look at that code that Thindall has shared. So here it is. This is Custom Vision AI. This is an AI tool that lets you, I'm going to call this Tron. I got this hat last year, so let's call this Tron 23. So this is from Disney, from the Tron Light Cycle ride at Disney's Magic Kingdom. I think that's enough, right? I wasn't able to actually make it into Magic Kingdom this was in December. Our friend Fierce Kittens, though, she had an extra day at the Dev Intersection conference and was able to go to Magic Kingdom and had an absolute blast there. And she picked up a Tron hat and a Tron t-shirt. I am such a geek for the original movie Tron. The sequel, really enjoyed it. And isn't there like an animated picture, and there's a third one that they're making right now. So excited to see what happens with that. So let's just get this into the catalog of hats. There we go. Just a few more. It takes 15 pictures. We get these. I really like this interface for setting up and defining images. Like, here's what I want you to detect. Like, I don't think you can really do this with ChatGPT and the tools that are over there. But then the problem becomes, all right, now we got to go train this thing. Look at that. That training failed. Wow. All right, well, delete that one and try it again. Let's see what happens. So that was from last time. What did we add last time? Oh, the sign hat. Yeah. So we'll wait and see how long that takes. Yeah, there was an animated series from 2012. Yeah. I haven't seen it. Last time we asked a question about it, you have to admin on the server service. Oh, about, yes, application pool on IIS. I remember. A one-off call to help you see what the options are. I would need to look further, and I'll let other folks in chat take a look at that and chime in. Have I watched House of the Dragon Season 2, asks C Sharp Titan. No. And here's the thing. Here's the thing with House of the Dragon. There are so many new characters that they introduced right off the bat. Like, in Season 1, there's dozens of characters. And they all somehow relate back to the dozens of characters from the last series. That's confusing. And then they waited 2 years to release Season 2. I don't remember a thing that happened in Season 1. I know Doctor Who is bad. I know he's got blonde hair in this one. And Doctor Who is kind of evil in this one. So, we don't like Doctor Who in House of the Dragon. Right? We don't like Doctor... It's not quite that, but... So, that's a thing. So I started watching episode 1. And of course they come back with a 2-hour episode. And I'm watching, I'm like, who the heck are these people? She's upset because this thing's dead, and I don't know why. It died, we saw last time, but so what? It was some kid, something. I don't remember this. Like, there is too much story for there to be continuity. And there's too much time between episodes for me to remember and catch up on what happened. You're not the only show anymore. There's a couple dozen other shows that are doing the same thing. I don't remember. Like, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I don't get it. This is Stream Beats. And it's barely coming through. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Check it out. There's all kinds of genres available. This is the Synthwave playlist today, and this is Jiggly Jellyfish. Thank you so much to Harris Heller and his team of creators for putting this music together we're listening to today. So I started trying to watch it, and I don't have the time or the patience to get back into it. I need Cliff's Notes to get back into it. I saw the blog post about the Phi 3 model, and I'm trying to spend time learning that. Thindall doesn't like how Doctor Who was in Jessica Jones. Right! Doctor Who was in Jessica Jones, and Doctor Who was a bad guy in there. Why is it Doctor Who is a bad guy in all the movies after Doctor Who is Doctor Who? This happened with G.I. Joe also. Doctor Who was Destro. Why is Doctor Who always a bad guy after Doctor Who leaves Doctor Who? I don't get it. Cliff's Notes from House of the Dragon. Something, something, dragon, roar, fire, roar, dragon, dead. Right. Right. Okay. Custom Vision AI finished that in 5 minutes. It's ready to go. Stand by. I'm going to publish that jammy right here. There we go. And I'll reset. No, not train. Oh, good. Doesn't know this one.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
96%. That's pretty darn good. And I've got to update the catalog with that list, and so it goes on the website and stuff. Maybe during July we'll do some updates to the Hat website and the Hat AI cataloging and stuff. It's very much above average by a lot. Doctor Who became a scarecrow after he left Doctor Who too. How you doing, the Welsh Cabigan? I don't remember that. He became the Scarecrow. I don't know what happened the other day. It said it failed. So, let me take a look at this review the code request from Thindall. So this is one of the channel point requests that you can file. And here we go. We'll put 15 minutes on the clock. And we'll take a look at this. Set the timer for 15 minutes. And we'll take a look at some of Thindall's code here for substring or shorter extensions. Okay. Let's see what's going on in here. It's a maximum of 15 minutes. So, retrieve a substring from this instance. If the string is shorter than the length, then the whole string is returned. Yeah. Okay. Sure. You can certainly do that as a, what's it called? As a ternary? As a ternary expression. I'm okay with the if statement. Retrieves the substring from this instance starting at start index. If the string is shorter than the length, then the whole string is returned. If length is shorter than start index, then empty string. If length is less than or equal to start, then retrieve just from the start index. Otherwise, substring start index dot length. If length is shorter than is less than start index length. So if this is 5 and your start index is 2, if the full length is 5 characters because it's the word start, and you want to start at index 2 and you want 5 characters, then just give everything. Okay. Not bad. I don't see an issue with these. I would put some unit tests with this just to kind of guarantee this that this thing is behaving, because what I would like to do with such a nice general purpose set of string manipulations, there are. Hey, look, tests. There you go. Substring or shorter length. Well, okay, hang on. That's the other side of this. Yeah, okay, so if it's longer than that, then it returns the full thing. Okay. Part of me would also put an error handler in there to handle negative numbers. Otherwise, you're going to hit the error handler that's inside substring. Right, because if somebody passes in a length of -12, you'll get the full string. where you maybe want to have a argument out of range. So handling it before you make that decision might be nice. Same thing here. You're going to run into an issue if there's a negative value for start index, or the length is a negative value. These are assumed to be positive, and the math that you're doing on these, a negative value could run into just a little bit of an issue. The next things, so you have unit tests. The next things that I would consider at a low level function like this that you're clearly packaging into a library, more of a time thing. Hey, do you have time to do this type of thing? I'd run benchmark.net against it. It's on NuGet? Okay. I would run benchmark.net against it because these types of methods are bound to be used in places where they need to run really fast. And you know what I'm going to say next. This type of thing packaged up, I would consider turning into spans. It's clear you're working with just a string. I would convert this to use spans, because then you're allocating memory here, right? And there. Convert it to use spans, run it back through benchmark.net, and see if that can run a little bit faster. And Copilot can probably help you with that as well. So, and honestly, I think that's something that running Copilot through and say, go do this, will probably run and handle this and do that rewrite for you pretty quickly. I mean, heck, let's try that real quick. Why not? Right? I'm just going to pop open a new... Hey, that was a thing I was working on. Let's go over here and... Right, let's just do this and drop into that folder. .NET new. Class lib. Sure, just write it right there. Thanks. Appreciate that. Open it up in ye old Visual Studio Code. And over here, I'm going to go grab... I'm just going to copy this. And we'll make this public static class. Doesn't matter, because I'm not saving this. I'm doing this just for the purpose of discussion. No. What is it to do the formatting? I always forget this. Format document. Shift Alt F. Whatever. Alright. You go away. Thank you. Waiting for Copilot to start here. Status ready. I don't think you're ready. I don't think you're ready. Hi, how can you help me? Convert this to use span of t instead of strings. Let's see what it does. Make a PR? Maybe. There we go. So, right, it's going to return read-only spans of type character. Well, if it's... I think you're okay with that one. This one is the one... Yeah, slice isn't gonna... Right. You're going to be returning a read-only span of characters there. And converting back and forth is probably going to be... Why doesn't it like that? Memory extensions as span. I haven't used this before. No. Right, it's still returning. Hmm. And then it did a slice here as well. But you still have to two-string it coming back. I'd be curious what the performance of that is compared to what you had before. But it's right. It's a micro optimization that you don't need, and most folks aren't going to run into. So, it's probably overkill. It probably isn't adding that much to this. So, yeah, I'd be curious what you get out of that. But otherwise, the negative numbers are the ones that I'd be worried about in there. Wise Otter.
Just resubscribed for 12 months. C# party.
Thank you so much for that support. Really appreciate it. Mythan, I'll come back to your question in just a minute. This is a channel point redemption for a code review. The big thing that we're seeing in here is, yeah, I don't mind that guard method on there. There we go. Throw the negative number on that one. And, yeah, throw it. I didn't even have to... I didn't suggest that, and Copilot isn't listening to me. But it suggested those guard clauses. Not bad. And I wouldn't even do the equals here. I would do is for the pattern matching. Right? And I would even change this to, right? Yeah, is null or empty on that. And do it that way. So, love the guard clauses. Love them. So, I think I can wrap up there. There's not too much more for me to review here. Yeah, the argument null exception, well, throw if null. Right? Where did that go? I thought the argument... No, no. Not new, get rid of you. Yeah, throw if null or white space. Right, so you're going to do something like that, and then something like that, and even then, right. Now, why does it think it can simplify there? Simplify? Yeah? What did you simplify there? That's better. Be nice if there was a similar thing on argument out of range exception. Oh! Hello! I didn't know these were out here. Throw if equal? Look at... I didn't know that was out there for the argument out of range. Oh. Oh my. Oh my. Throw if less than or equal... Right? Oh my. I know. So, start index 0. Yeah. Now, why am I getting a... Right. What's it? And then the parameter name, and then we don't need the message at the end. Right, and it's the same deal with length. I didn't know those were in there. The ability to do those types of checks. Well, that dramatically simplifies those guard clauses. I like that. See that there's parts of the language and framework that you don't use all the time, and you don't know features are there. The parameter name can be inferred. Can it be? Wasn't there a thing? I thought there was like an attribute or something you could do on it also that would automatically do some of this. I forget. Well, it doesn't. It's going to do a name of on that. I'm not going to. No. I'll leave that up to you to test. But thanks for asking for the code review. That was fun to take a look at and learn a little bit about your code. And yeah, this is stuff that feels pretty much like safety barriers that should be there on the string anyway. So, cool stuff. Thank you. I want to talk about this. I've got some more questions there in chat. Let me answer your questions first, and then we'll talk about that over there. Mythin with a question from a few minutes ago regarding .NET Aspire. All right, hit me. If Mythin uses the starter template, I'm getting a web front end and an API that is private. Is it possible to make that API publicly available? Yes. With external endpoints is what you're looking for. Let me show you. I'll go back over to the code and let's create that .NET Aspire starter template here. So .NET new Aspire starter output test for Mythin. All right. What? What's the name of the... I thought it was Aspire starter. Where is it? Yeah, Aspire dash starter. Ugh. I love what you've done here, Windows Terminal. Kind of put me in the middle of everything that I just did, but different. No matter. So let's drop into there, and you see it gives you an entire solution with 4 projects when you create a new Aspire template, starter project template. So here's the deal, right? So if you go into app host here and you look at program, right? So you have the with external HTTP endpoints that makes the web front end visible so that everybody can get to it. Right? You just do the exact same thing up here with external HTTP endpoints. Oh. And back over here. And we'll go to app host. Yeah, .NET Run is fine. And now it'll make that whole shebang, the API, visible outside your project. What? Comma on line 3, where? Do it again. Yeah, Perry, that was one of the first ones I suggested, was you could turn this into a ternary, but it's not going to add significant value. Isn't this where the Stephen Taub deep dive would shed some light? Yes. So. You built an until just to be less annoying with the... Okay. So, there you go. And this is now visible and has an external endpoint that it will publish. So that's something that's kind of important for folks to understand, is the configuration that the Aspire app host gives you is not enabling everybody to get to all your resources unless you explicitly declare it. This also is true if you add in Postgres or Redis, right? So if we added the Redis cache, let's see if I can remember that one. .NET add package Aspire. I don't think it's Aspire Redis. Is it like Aspire hosting Redis? Something like that? I don't know. Maybe I got it right. I got it right. Right? So if I say var cache equals, no, builder add Redis, right? My cache Jammy. Yeah, I don't know. Just give it a name. And we .NET run that. Going in the code? Cool. Can I set up for you your VS Code? No. TT on, or is it Teti on YouTube? No, I don't set up your VS Code. You can do it yourself. There's not that much to do. What kind of challenge? What kind of problem are you having that you need help with that? There you go. So there's the cache, and that's only visible internal to your cluster. But you can do the same thing with external HTTP endpoints. I don't think that... I'm not sure that's going to punch a hole for that properly. I would have to take a look at that. But with external HTTP endpoints is there, right? And I thought there was also just with external. No. There's with endpoint also, but that's not something that we should normally be doing. The external bit is particularly what's setting up the ingress for you. So, but there you go, with external HTTP endpoints, because that's a thing. And tomorrow, there it is. We'll be talking all about that. I've got this great sample that we built that uses, and I know we have a number of folks here who aren't American. This uses a sample based on the American National Weather Service. Hey, I know that guy. No, it's over on this side. Hey, there's me, right there. Anyways, and the idea was, we've had this weather sample baked into our templates for years and years. And all it does is randomly put numbers on the screen. And quite frankly, while that's nice and portable and doesn't refer to anything outside of the template, that's nice. But it's stupid. Everybody looks at that and goes, this is stupid. Why is it 30 Celsius outside in Chile? What? So, and I was laughing at the articles last week of folks from the UK, British folks, complaining that 20 Celsius, 23 Celsius was blisteringly hot. I'm like, really? Really? Can we talk about that? No. It didn't really update your container app. You have to redeploy. It should do it. I have that configuration in Aspirify and it works. Hey there, it's Code. Hello. What if I first deploy the application, then decide to do with external endpoints? It'll update when you redeploy, when you do AZD up next time. It will update. I ran into a bunch of that yesterday, deploying a different application. So I want to ask our European friends here. This demo uses data from the U.S. National Weather Service. I know that makes it then a very American-centric demo. I provided some locations that are easy to search: Philadelphia, Manhattan, District of Columbia, Los Angeles County. That should be okay, right? We're okay with being able to do that, right? So the gist of this is there's an API that the American National Weather Service makes available. It's an open API. Anybody can get to it. If you go to weather.gov, everybody's allowed to use this. It's just out there, and you can interact with it. Where is it? Right, there's an... I forget how to get to it from the home page. There's an... safety, no. No, where... I don't know where it is here. No. National Weather... Yeah, there it is. National Weather Service API. It's like I searched for this before. Because I did. Yeah. Documentation. Yeah, API Weather Service. Upgrade the endpoints. Uh-oh. Here's the specification. And you can get the Open API, the Swagger document for this. It is massive. Because they have a ton of features here. So I just wrote a little quick grid in Blazor that lets you search across all the different weather stations they have. Click on one, and then show you, here's the actual weather. Like, here's the weather forecast that's actually been forecast for right now. That, to me, feels like a more interesting demo. Because what it also does is it brings in third-party dependencies. It brings in questions of reliability. Because sometimes these weather stations stop reporting data. Hey, there's a hurricane approaching Florida. That weather station in Miami is offline and not reporting weather data. Yeah, right? That's a thing. Or it's not responding quickly, so I'm not going to reliably get a response every time. Okay. So things like that we did. So let me catch up with chat a little here. We need some solid configuring Aspire docs. So I started writing a blog post the other night because there's a bunch of things that I've learned about Aspire that aren't really in the docs, that are good tips and tricks, and you've seen some of these things here live on stream that I want to go and set up. With Redis Commander, that's another great one to... That is... It's kind of in the docs, but it's not... It's not, like, recommended, right? It's an amazing find. So, I think there's some cool things like that I want to highlight as part of this. So, here's the deal. There's the YouTube event. Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific, so that's noon Eastern and what, 4, 5 p.m. for folks in Europe. Hello, Tim! Oh my goodness. Hello, hello. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome in, Raiders. Let me give a minute for the pre-roll to pass. So good to see you. Thank you so much, Raiders. Welcome in. My name is Jeff Fritz. I'm teaching and talking about .NET Aspire, and we're going to have some fun with this, adding features today into into Tags app using .NET Aspire. So, how are you doing out there? What was going on over there on your stream, Tim? Let's drop a shout out for our friend Tim Bodette. Come on now. There it goes. Manoj, I'm going to pin that question, come back to it in just a minute. Apollo with a question there. Hey, PC nerd. When you go to the WeatherGov site, they have an international link that goes to... Where? WeatherGov... They have an international link? Oh, down there. You're now leaving the National Weather Service. Goes to World Weather... sure, go ahead. Do they have an API? Do they have a My World Weather? Weather icons, really? Is it going to have like Jim Cantore? No, it's actual pictures. It's not weather forecasters that we see as icons. It is a much better demo. Thank you. Welcome in, Raiders. How you doing there, Ryan Hawkins? Is this going to be a series every week? No, this is a one-time thing. Let me 1 second. Let me come back to that question. Openweathermap.org.api. I like the icons over here. Openweathermap.api. Was that it? .org. Well, look at that. 1,000 API calls per day. For free, you have to sign up for it. It's not a public one. So, I'm okay that you have to sign up for it, but the National Weather Service one for the states, no need to sign up. Anybody can hit it. Oh, darn it. Fat fingered. WMO public API. Yeah, you have some APIs there for me? Show me. Instrument satellites variable. No. Retrieve a list of instruments. No. No, doesn't look like they have an API that we can hit for this. I mean, cool that it's out there, but it doesn't have a public API, as far as I can tell there. Bit of random sim racing telemetry stuff. Oh, that's cool. Have a good one, Tim. Thank you so much for bringing your friends to see us there. At the bottom in the footer, I'm looking in the footer. Icons, I didn't see API here. Radar database. I see a bunch of databases, but not APIs. Right? It's not there. No API. Let me go back up. There were a couple questions there I want to catch back up on. Except for the spans, yeah. I'm fine with that. Okay, we answered that question. Manoj asks, what's the use of an ASP.NET Core endpoint filter? Is it purely for auth, logging, or any other use cases? ASP.NET Core endpoint filter. Well, you can also filter based on the request accept media types, right? And pivot back and forth on different media types that are requested on that filter. You can pivot on whether it's a robot or a human using that filter, right? because the typical search engine robots will come in with a with a specific browser tag that you can filter on and then redirect and have them get a cached optimized experience for them, stuff like that. So I see them mention there. This is being aired also in 5 other languages. Spanish is coming up in this list also. There's a Spanish one that's being scheduled and is going to be added to this. French, Korean, Mandarin, Portuguese, and Japanese. There's a Spanish one, like I said, that's being planned and will come online. Dongarath says, for demo purposes, I don't really care about the origin of the API and what data it serves as long as I have the structure to query any API. Totally. I'm looking for a relatable demo, right? And if there's a similar free and open API that folks can get to that is, right, like the Marvel API is out there to query comic book stuff, but then you run into all kinds of legal use cases of teaching and talking about Iron Man, Captain America, and that kind of thing, and licensing and... Ugh. Like, anytime that you see in the Microsoft Docs they mention Doctor Who or something Star Trek, there is a copyright entry in the Learn doc that says, you know, this is Doctor Who referenced is copyright the BBC, and Star Trek is copyright Paramount, and blah, blah, blah. So, does that API give you satellite data too? It'll give forecasts, it'll give current observations. And you can look at those and tinker with those. So, let me see here. Oh, no diff. Oh, it's hard for me to say that I was... yesterday was the Stanley Cup final. I wanted to see the Edmonton Oilers win, and Edmonton is all the way over on the western side of Canada. And so it's very far away from me, but the last time the Oilers won a Stanley Cup was, I want to say 1989? No, 89 was Calgary. It wasn't 87. 87 was the last one Gretzky won, because it was against my Philadelphia Flyers. And just like Stanley Cup final last night, the winning team did not have the playoff MVP on the team. But there was a Stanley Cup that they won without Gretzky, and Messier was the captain, and I forget. It wasn't 89. That was Calgary. Was it like 91? And then 93 was Montreal, and that was the last Canadian team to win the Cup. So I really wanted to see a Canadian team win that, and I don't like Florida. So, when you go to the Weather Gov site, they have the international... Yeah, okay. I caught up on that message. Would be cool to be able to ingest the data on a daily cadence to be able to time travel through the data. You have that option, Xerxes. The demos that I'm going to show really are to get just current live data. You can certainly tinker and play with that on your own. Okay, so catching up still. You went through the Aspire sample projects to find just about everything I needed. Oh, cool, Perry. So this isn't a series. I'm still working on that series. I'm not about the Big Bad Blog growing a simple blog engine into a full-fledged CMS. I'm postponing this week's again. Last week's postponed because of Juneteenth. Postponing this week's because I'm teaching this, which is very much the intro episode that I first did for the first week of that series. So there's lots more to come for that. So, catching up still on messages here. To find the world news. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Apollo. Yeah. Guard clause is added. Tests updated. Nice. You're welcome, Thindall. Manoj says you should have the old approach as fallback. if the weather API is down, maybe using Poly or something. So, Manoj, that resiliency is baked into Aspire. Let me open the source code for Tags app, because we added service defaults into this, and I specifically call out and show that resiliency in the demos, in the workshop that we wrote for this. It's baked in, and yeah, you're gonna see this in just a second here. Let me go over here. So we added their service defaults. So if you come here, you right, close everything else. Thank you. So when you say in an Aspire app, add service defaults, it calls add standard resilience handler here, which gives you this initial configuration. Come on. There we go. Right, this is decompiled from the library, where it will attempt to retry. Rate limiting circuit breaker timeout, right? So it will try, it'll time out if it takes too long. It'll retry if it gets an error, right? All kinds of great capabilities that are just baked in by default here. That this is open source. You can take this and tune this to whatever you need for your HTTP clients, but it's got a standard. Here's something that we think is good for 80-90% of the scenarios. Resilience handler baked in. So I completely agree with you, and it's already there. So yeah, thank you, Pac-Man Jr., for the link. Half of Florida's teams are Canadian, so Canada sort of won. Look, over the past 5 years, the state of Florida has won 3 Stanley Cups. Right? Tampa, the Lightning won twice, and now the Panthers won. And in the middle there, oh yeah, we had a team from the Las Vegas desert win the Stanley Cup. Like, this is weird. And I forget who was the other one in there. Tampa. The Knights. Florida. Was it Washington? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Who won the last 5 Stanley Cups? Yeah. Give me the list. There we go. So Florida, Vegas, Colorado. That's the one I'm thinking of. Tampa. Oh no, it was the Blues and then the Capitals before that. Yeah. Capitals were 2018. Wow. That doesn't feel like that long ago. So, yep. So, and the Kings won. Yeah, I was thinking the Kings were closer. Right? The Kings and the Blackhawks. Look at, right? Chicago in 2010, 2013, 2015. And those stinking Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah. So, that's a thing. All right. Welcome to Sports Talk. Might be a silly question from C# Titan, but how do websites prevent unauthorized access to an API endpoint if someone happens to get access to it? They will check for they'll check for a header is what they'll look for. You'll pass a client ID, client secret on a header, and that'll determine whether you get access to it. So Nick has a video covering the resiliency stuff coming in .NET 9 to basically replace Poly. Nick has taken to titling and making his videos sound to take more of a Chicken Little approach to promoting his content, The sky is falling! The sky is falling! You need to do this now! I don't find that particularly encouraging. He also takes a very bite-sized optimization, feature tuning approach to things. Folks enjoy that. That's fine. I like showing you things that are real, that are deployed, that you can reach out and use and touch and interact with. That's my approach. First Finnish captain to lift the Stanley Cup. That's right. Hey, Warm Peas. Hello. Yeah, there was a Flyers loss in there to the Blackhawks a couple years ago. Yep. So, is Poly not maintained anymore? No, Poly is still maintained. In fact, the Poly team worked closely with the Microsoft folks to extend and deliver the .NET Resilience features. And Poly is still maintained, and you're certainly welcome to use it, and the folks are building that. But there are some features that were based on Poly that are included with the .NET base class library now. He does make it seem like a lot of in-house features are being deprecated when in reality they're often being reworked. Right. Features... This is a good topic that we should discuss just a little bit here. You want your developer tools. You want your software products that you're using, that you depend on, to be maintained, to get new features, to have existing features updated, reworked, get new performance benefits, get security features turned on by default when new types of attacks are developed, and to protect against old attacks as well. You want that protection in your software development frameworks, in your software development tools, in your software that you use. Furthermore, as we get new devices, right? As we get new ways to interact, new techniques, new features, new capabilities, we develop and figure out, hey, here's a cool new way to do. You want those added into existing applications and products that you use regularly. And there's something then that becomes almost counterintuitive when you go to add new features that are demanded into an existing product. And then folks complain that you're competing unfairly. Oh, wait a sec. If there's a demand for a new type of product and you're telling me I'm not allowed to compete with that product, that's... Why don't you just tell me to stop and go out of business and I'm not allowed to innovate? So, and there's a bit of that from folks who feel, gosh, even though folks are asking for a new feature, you are not allowed to build that. Well, wait a sec. Because the company's successful, they're not allowed to build a demanded new feature? It's interesting quandary we get into. He has videos, use this instead of Blazor, or C# 13 can break your code. Right, C# Titan. And creating fear in people is a way to generate attention. Let's face it, folks love dogpiling on negative scenarios. The internet and social media is attracted to negative attention. If I mouthed off and complained and swore a lot and took a negative approach and badmouth people left and right, I would get a ton more viewers. I would. If I told people, you can't keep programming with Node because it's open to supply chain attacks, and there just was one this weekend, and the idiots who run some of these JavaScript libraries let it come in because they don't know what they're talking about, because they're not professionals, and you don't really want professionals running your software development libraries and frameworks that you built your $1 million company on. I could run my mouth off like that and get a ton of attention. I could. And I fully agree with a bit of what I said there. Not all of it. Hey, Brocco. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, that supply chain attack over the weekend. Like, the long con is strong that's going on against the JavaScript ecosystem right now. And these are not the only people doing it. What's the current version of Node out there right now? The current shipping version of Node is 20. This schmuck over the weekend updated one of the most popular and used libraries to add support for 0.4. 22 is shipping. Okay. Still, this is a version of Node that was deprecated years ago. And this person had commit access as a maintainer. Updated, changed the references in this library so that it referenced and used things that support a competing library. Oh, and by the way, he's the maintainer of those other things also, and he's getting paid based on the number of downloads that his libraries are getting. So this person injected code that increased the number of dependencies, turned the dependencies to his libraries that aren't vetted by the other committers, that aren't vetted by the other maintainers, and he's getting paid for the number of times that those dependencies are downloaded. There are libraries on NPM, like underscore, that are downloaded billions of times a month because of how many times they're referenced inside of other libraries. So when people do just a typical restore, you downloading and restoring it downloads that NPM library dozens of times. Multiply that times the millions of JavaScript developers, and you see why some of their libraries get downloaded millions of times a day. That's the way their ecosystem works, and that's fine. That's how it works. But the supply chain attack that's coming to some of these maintainers of core libraries that folks have stepped away from because they just work. It's coming. It's happening. And as much as people say, no, we don't want this, the number of thumbs down on this post, this pull request this person opened, is astounding. Like, there was a couple hundred thumbs down on it, and this guy just said, I don't care, and merged anyway. It's a supply chain attack. It's happening. We need to be aware of these things. When you run open source projects, who you give access to, the code that you allow other people to merge, when other folks depend on it, it can be a problem. Support for old versions of open source is something your company is offering. That's fine. It's when you when you accept a pull request so that you can provide support for versions that are no longer maintained, the red flags are up and flying and something dirty is going on. And if you want to provide support for older things, fork it and call it foolib.archive support or something. And then if you want to use that instead, pivot and use that. But this person was clearly injecting so that they could switch over the dependency chain, and they did. And it was merged and accepted. So, Thindall saying lots of open source companies offer support as part of their business model. Let's talk about Redis, who offered support, and the cloud giants all said, well, we're not going to pay for support. So they said, all right, well, if you run Redis on a certain number of machines, we'd at least like to get some sort of a support license from you. And Amazon and Google said, no, and we're going to fork you. That didn't sound right. We're going to fork the repository and go build our own version of this called Valkey. And you know what? They're welcome to do that, but it's completely antithetical to the spirit of open source. That shows you how much vested interest Google and Amazon have in open source. And they do not want to support you as an open source maintainer. This should be big news to the open source community that Amazon and Google do not want to support you. This is the dream, that your open source project is used by millions of folks. People depend on it every day. The big companies like your project and use it and are making money from it. Hey, can I get paid a little bit to help maintain this and grow it? And they say no. What do you do? You've been spending years, decades working on this project. It's successful. You want to get paid. Nice salary would be okay. It'd be nice if you got paid for a little bit for your back work that you'd done. $100,000 a year, a decade of work. It'd be nice to get $1 million one-time payment. Hey, thanks so much. Look, we're making billions of dollars off of the product that you built. We're going to give you $1 million for all that work, and we're going to pay you $100,000 annually for your support going forward. No. They walked away and said, we don't care about you. We're forking this, and we're going to drag your name through the mud. And talk badly about you. Quite frankly, if I was Redis Labs, I'd be filing a libel lawsuit against Amazon and Google. Sherlocked, exactly. It's the exact same thing. Apple does it all the time. So, you just came in and you heard, hello. That's right. Yep, the Mocalypse as well. Yep. Hey, I've been building, maintaining this for years. I'm going to offer you some advanced features for pay. And he tried to set up a licensing scheme for it, and people went nuts on him. Okay, create your own fork of it that is Mock Premium, that has the advanced features, and it must have a license key. Like, you need to fork. So, yeah. Yeah. Folks don't understand how privileged open source is. You have to be privileged to have the resources and time to be able to build something open source and give it away, and be privileged in that you can give it away for free and not charge for it. You don't need to be paid for that thing because somebody else is paying you. There's a certain amount of privilege to that. And then on the other side, you have privilege in that you can accept and you're okay with those licenses to be able to use it. Open source is an extremely privileged thing, and people who tell you otherwise don't understand the licensing and monetization models and where these things actually get paid for. It is extremely privileged. You can't just take code that other folks wrote and not understand where it came from. You can't. There's a lot of people that do that, and then they get burned. It happens. So, hash the account email. But more so, Thindall was the mock tools didn't just hash the account. It reached into your Git configuration and grabbed your account information. It clearly went outside of its delegated capabilities. That's malware when it does something it's not expected to do. So, luckily, free and open source software comes with sponsorships and donations. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. The number of donations that he got for Mock over the course of 10 years building it was less than $1,000. No, it wasn't. The XZ-Utils backdoor, it's a great example of bad actors. Yep. Not always privileged. Oh, tell me more. Some people are extremely principled when it comes to open source. I am going to completely disagree with this. Completely disagree with this. And I'm going to tell you, and I kind of explained it. You are extremely privileged that you can write source code and give it away and not get paid. You have some other open source maintainers and authors have some other way to get paid for work and give it away. That's privilege. You're able to do work, not get paid, and have customers for it. That's privilege. The principles that come with it, I completely disagree with it because folks point to Linus Torvalds, who folks say is a very open and leader of an open source movement. I also would think of Eric S. Raymond and Richard Stallman. They're all jerks. They're all schmucks. You meet these people in person, and they are some of the nastiest people. They have principles, but I would never call them somebody that has values that I'd want to live up to. So it's not always principles, but they have other ways to finance their software work. It is the privilege that they have. Hey, Space Shot, why didn't I get the alert on that? Thank you so much. Tier 2 subscription, much appreciate. Great to see you. Hello. Chris Jones, I'm not getting any of my stream alerts. Oh, why is that turned off? That should come back on. Chris Jones with the Prime sub. Thank you so much. 63 months with us. If we all listen to Stallman, no one would make money from software. Totally agree. Free and open source maintainer, given the lack of any initiative for people to support it. Totally. Perry with the Prime. Thank you so much. 11 months with us. Yes, they are difficult, folks. When you work for the means of having time to do open source development, that's not privilege. Right. Wait, when I work for the means of having time. No, you have that. You absolutely have that privilege. That to be able to release open source development because you have another job. And that other job also is not demanding that they own the other code that you write. That's a privilege also. Yeah, they're very arrogant, a number of those folks. Thank you, Thindel. We're supposed to excuse personal attacks because some people have built amazing things? No. You can argue points without belittling someone. Yes. Apollo asking, is the robot character from .NET allowed to be used in an open source project related to? No, I don't think so. That's a question for the .NET Foundation. I don't think so. That's why I have a slightly different purple robot. Chris Funk says, I know of an open source app that was built on a 501c3, so that's a charity organization. They tried optional donation to support the app. They effectively had to go to a freemium model. Yeah. That's hard to do. Very hard to do. Oh, they're adding a Vietnamese session. And an session for Africa. I don't know what language that would be, but okay. So you have the privilege of working hard in order to have free time. That's a privilege? No. You have the freedom that you're able to write software that you can give away and not get paid for. You have that privilege that you don't need to be able to be paid for that software that you're giving away. You're turning around what I'm saying here. You have the privilege that you don't need to be paid for software you're giving away. Remember when Doom was successful as shareware? Oh my gosh. And then people paid for the remaining chapters. Right. You'd pay $5 to get a CD or a series of floppy disks that it was shipped on, paying basically for the media and somebody copying and giving it to you, and then you could go buy the other 2 episodes. So, how you doing there, Jonathan? Welcome. You want to use Restream? I'm using Restream. Yeah. What about it? Some open source projects don't generally as theses, dissertations. Right. You don't need to be paid because you worked very hard. Okay. At some point, you got to pay for food. At some point, you got to pay for the electricity that the computers you use to write that software are running on. At some point, you got to pay for the place that you're in with the computer that you're using to write that software. Like, at some point, you need to do that. Maybe your employer is paying you to release that as open source. That's still a privilege that your employer is allowing you to do that. You'd argue that having time to write code outside of a paying job is not always privilege. It's a gray area. It's not having time. It's you're paid enough that the code that you write on your free time, you can give away. That's privilege. Because other folks who aren't paid enough would charge money for that. The privilege is that something else is covering your basic needs. Exactly. Thank you, Weird Beard Dev. Yep. How you choose to spend your free time is up to you. You're not required to write open source software. So, Rick Strahl has his code behind a paywall. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You pay for too much food? Oh. A privilege is a special right, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group. Go on. Yeah. If you're a software developer who's highly paid and able to spend and able to take your free time and invest that in a hobby, right? Because you're giving it away. It's not a business. In a hobby, to give away source code and applications, that's a privilege. You solve a problem for yourself and share it and then feel obligated to maintain it. Then it's a burden. No, I did not get it wrong, Freakex. If something is covering your basic needs and you don't need to sell the software that you're writing, that's a privilege. Because if you don't have something that's covering your basic needs and you need to sell the software you're writing instead of publishing it and giving it away, that's different. That's a business. I did read the rest of it. If you have the free time and personal resources of internet dev machines and don't have to worry about working, that is, yes. Need versus wants, absolutely. You don't need to write open source. Period. Nobody needs to write open source. That's a great point there, VTC End. Right? You want to do it. It's something fun to do. It's a hobby. Right? If you're not getting paid by a business to do it, that's a hobby. Having a hobby that is expensive, right? And writing open source software is expensive for all the reasons that we talked about. That's a privilege that you're able to do that. Working to get time to do things that I want is not a privilege. Okay, so let's dig into that a little bit further. If you didn't have to work, right? If you didn't work, how would you be able to write open source software? If you didn't work, if you didn't have some source of income, some source of financial support, be rich. There you go. Which is in itself a privilege. So, yeah, not saying folks don't earn it, don't deserve it. Absolutely. Nobody just gave you your source of income. It's not a special right. That's right. That's right. It's not a special right. However, the fact that you are paid enough that you can turn around and give away software instead of charging for it is a very privileged thing. Are there stats about how rich poor developers are in open source? No. However, there are stats about how little open source projects get in sponsorships. Define special. Define special. I would argue that highly paid software developers that are able to meet all of their needs financially and continue writing software after working and having their financial needs met and give that away is a special right. Software developers are not typical. There are many software developers that don't have the time and resources to spend on open source software because they have families. They have other things that they do with their life, other responsibilities that they don't have access to that type of extra time to devote to maintaining, growing other software. It's a very privileged thing. It's all, yes, special is very subjective too. How do you get a highly paid position? You have to work for it? Yes. Yes. Which means then you earn that privilege. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with earning that. and spending years studying and learning and growing and working for that. There is nothing. Look, I'm not using the word privilege as a. I'm not using that in any way to denigrate anybody. I work for the largest software company in the world. I get to spend how many hours a week online talking and teaching people. I realize and appreciate that I have access to some of that privilege, but I pass it to other folks. And that's a bit of what open source folks do, is they pass down that privilege and make those resources available to other folks. They use their privilege in a good way. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And I haven't said there's anything wrong with that. Extending that privilege and passing it to other folks who can't afford, who need help, who want to solve a problem, extending that privilege, as open source developers do, is an amazing thing. And I'm not saying anything negative towards that in any way, shape, or form. But they have that privilege to be able to do that. And extending that privilege is a very principled, amazing thing that open source software developers, and projects get to do. I haven't said anything negative about that privilege. There's nothing negative about privilege at all. There's negative about folks who covet that privilege and say, oh, well, you just got it handed down because of blah, blah, blah. Passive income or some income stream is essentially required. At the end of the day, we all work. Yep. Having enough energy and time to do things you normally do for work, but do it for free, that is privilege. Thinking of your per hour charge for making free software, selling at a loss, yeah, that's a terrible business model, Reg. Freecak grew up on a dirt road, taught self-programming while working 36 different jobs. Hang on. You're now in a highly paid industry. You've worked towards and earned that privilege. Nothing wrong with that. Privilege is not a negative thing. Let's be clear about that. Look, if you work hard, study, learn, and advance yourself, and somebody says you don't deserve that at the end of the day, no. That's not how this works. You work hard and study to advance, to move forward. I agree, Olu. Contributed someone younger, now coaching kids in volleyball, traveling for tournaments. Yes. Sugarman. Yes. That was me this weekend. I was traveling. I was in West Virginia, taking my daughter to band camp. Not everybody can do that. I'm extending and passing that on. So, nepotism is a form of privilege. Absolutely. Yep. You disagree that all open source development is some kind of privilege? You're welcome to disagree. Two hats still remain. I worked hard for the business. I worked hard for myself to build what I want. Totally. There's nothing wrong with either one of those. The fact that you can do that second hat for folks who are doing open source software after hours from the work that they do during the day and get paid for, that is a bit of privilege to be able to do that. So, yeah, we're gonna get into. Let me get into this, Perry. Too little time while 10-hour job besides family. Yep. When you get to contribute for the first time to an open source project, it's so amazing. Absolutely, it is. The word has had recent negative connotations. Yes. But you've earned the ability to be able to take and do more with it and extend that to folks who don't have it. That's an amazing thing. So, how many cupcakes are being shared in lesser evolved countries? We use it more in the sense of advantage. You could say anyone born in the States is privileged among all the people in the world. I absolutely would agree with that. Yes. Paid work plus open source work is comparable to bar hopping. Why do you go to bar too? That's an interesting comparison there, GS Walt. You can work your butt off to earn more free time. Yep. So, all right. Let's love the discussion. Thank you so much. Let's dive in. Let's talk about. I've been working on Tags app, and I've been adding features here, moving it into .NET Aspire so that we can do more interesting things with this. Is this? Yeah, it is. Okay. Let me jump back over to the code, and we can talk a little bit about what's going on in here. Moonlighting is another privilege that you have the ability to do because you have the talent to be hired and work at more than one employer. So, you decided to take a stab at playwright tests after some initial struggles. Now it wants first start configuration. That's something that we're removing with the Aspire change, DGen 1. Yeah. It is being I thought I removed it. I thought I removed the first start configuration because it jumps right into it should jump right into you know, the thing. Into Postgres. So we go back over here, we do this. So this is Tags app, right? Right? Yeah, we merged the Aspire stuff. So if I go into source, Tags app, app host, that's a little bit small for you, sorry about that. And we .NET watch this, John. It should start up and give us a fresh instance. First start configuration should start disappearing. Should have disappeared. Because it'll start up a fresh database and get us connected and let us start configuring how we want to run Tags app here. Excuse me. So, yeah, grab the latest commit on the main branch, and it should have the Aspire stuff in here. So, right, it started up a database, and we can even take a look at the pgadmin. It's not ready. pgadmin, for some reason, takes a long time to start here. See, look, it's initializing. And we're waiting. But I can still go in and start using the app, and it should start prompting you the keys for the various accounts there, the various providers. Doesn't ship with that. You have to add your own. But I like setting it up like that, and then you should be able to go into System Admin and start setting up the social media providers. So, if you don't have the database running, it should still scaffold and hand things off for you, right? So if we point this to a different... Excuse me. If we point this to a different volume, down in here, add database, this one, right? If we change the data volume, and I'll just make it 2. Restart. this should be what's in the upstream. Oh, I've got post-nasal drip killing me here, man. It shouldn't prompt you for the first start config. It's not running. No, it is. Oh, darn it. Hang on. Restart. I prefer running it at the command line, but oops. Here we go. And right, so it's going to go and start and set up the database for us. And the database migrations will go through. This is happening because the database migration didn't finish. Right, so in app host, yeah. Not, yeah, that one. Should pick up and get all connected. It isn't so annoying. Ugh. So, the database migration, where is it? It should apply and have everything all set up over there. No. Yeah. Database doesn't exist because it didn't do the migration. Okay. Let's take that as an issue and let's get that fixed. I'm going to finish this feature that we're currently forked and talking about right now. Stop. And we'll come back and fix this because it shouldn't be doing that. So dgen 1 acknowledged. We'll take that as the next thing to address here. So here we go. I left a water bottle in the other room. All right. So when this starts, database is out there, it's running, it's got all the things configured when it is all configured. Come on. It's there. Show me your logs. I put it back on the old volume. What do you mean it's not there? Well, maybe we're fixing this now. Rebuild that. Like it was there. Did it delete? It didn't delete the volume. It's still there on disk. Yeah, there it is. Tags app dev 12 days ago. Nope, doesn't see it. Well, that's annoying. Why didn't it find it? Tags app dash dev. It's not saved. That's why. It was looking at the wrong one. Well, that feels bad. Refresh. Web. There it is. We're good. All right. Ugh. So there I am logged in and site's working. And if I go to moderation, I should start to see your messages coming in from chat. There we go. Yeah. Right. I'll turn off Blue Sky. I'll turn off Mastodon. So we just get our chat room. There we go. So chat, we should start to see your messages coming through, like that one I just keyed in, and there it is. Fantastic. All right, next steps. Right, there you go, Dr. Cox. Okay, so I had started building the ability to do, right, so there's export messages I started putting in here, so that I could say, well, export all the messages, export not rejected messages, and when you click export, you get a CSV. And there's the messages. Now, author looks okay. The username looks okay. The author, not thrilled with. It's not being handled right in Excel. Same thing with the content coming through here. Right? Like, it escaped a single quote there.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
87%. Yep, it's Matron hat. The HTML coming through, I think I'm okay with. You know what? For right now, I'm going to push this. Oh, I remember. I was running into, it only grabs the top 100 messages because the method that I use only grabs the most recent 100 messages. So this is the export messages page. So let's go extend that. Yeah. Export messages. Right, so there's where it's doing some of the formatting in this generate CSV content, and we can figure out and tune that and improve that in the future. The filter. There's the states. Yeah, this. Get filtered content by tag right there. But I want to be able to say, go get everything. Right? So this is implemented on this interface. You blame Excel? Yeah. You're not wrong. I'm going to add an override for this. That allows you to specify a maximum number. Yeah. Yes. Can't I default that and do something like this? Equals 100 there. If I go find these. No, I should be able to just change that, right? That's okay like that. So then back over here, right? max count equals 100. Right? And that implements it now. Now, I'm going to go find the other implementation. Max count. Yep, thank you. And it doesn't do anything for that. That's fine, but fixes it. Okay. So, in the implementation then, there it is. Take max count. And at some point I should probably actually have it do paging. But quite frankly, even for our biggest event for .NET Conf, it had maybe 3,000 messages. So until that number gets to be in the tens of thousands, don't care. Don't care. Right, so if I go back to export messages, if I build this, should build okay. Because I've updated that implementation so it has a default value. So everywhere that was using it, darn it. You stop. Right, this should finish building. Yeah, there it goes. So here in export messages for generate CSV content, I'm going to say max count of, right? No, not that one. Not that one. Up here. After states the max count. Yeah. I could say int.max value. I'm going to say 100. I'm just going to drop in 100,000. Because I think that's probably plenty for what we're trying to accomplish. And then I can commit this, call it done for now, and go back over and let's fix that initial startup so that we get rid of the first start configuration. And let's clear that out because it will not be needed with where this is. Right? And part of this slow startup is because it's starting all those service providers as well. Something that we're going to move out. So, system admin, export messages. Sure, give me all messages. And look at that, 94K. And now I get 250 messages coming out. Awesome. Should we include moderation state with those? It's for a different time. Don't need to figure that out right now. The goal was to just get the messages exporting. So, looks good. No, remove that. Remove that solution file. We don't need that. But we can commit the other stuff. Added max count to get filtered messages. Fantastic. All right. That was easy. Back over to the code, over to the pull request. So that is going to build and test. There it goes. How long have these builds been taking? Minute 30? Fantastic. We can wait for that to run through. Getting the cache of the NuGet packages. We didn't add anything. Look at that. Almost a gig of package cache. Dear Lord. Right? That workload restore so it gets the Aspire. Cool. Done. doing the build. Right? Look, the restore takes milliseconds because everything, all the caches for the packages are now local here. So, here we go. Come on. And good, done. Fantastic. So let's merge that. Yup. I didn't want to, I wanted to compress that to squash it. Oh well. That's fine. Cool. So let's go back over here. Check out main. Get rid of that. Pull upstream. And push that. Cool. What's the next topic? So looks like there's an issue in here with the initial config that we don't need anymore is still popping up. So if I go into the database config here and we tell this to go somewhere new that isn't configured, yes, go ahead and do that. So many warnings. I know I got to clean that up, Rambling Geek. How you doing there? Could I pass on the URL for the upcoming training on Aspire? Yeah. So that is actually linked on... There we go. It is linked on the .NET blog right there. But you will find this... Oh, share. Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much. No, I wanted the copy button, man! Now they changed the layout of stuff here, and it's... Oof. Come on, give me... Where's the stupid copy button? We don't have a copy button anymore. No. You can put it on... And you can't copy that. Like, really? I think that's it. There you go. So that's where I'll be teaching on Thursday. All right. So I restarted the thing, so it should be over here. It's not on that one. It's not on that one. Where'd it go? There we go. So this we need to get fixed. So this should kind of be fixed now because it's kind of forced into Postgres. So we should be able to, let's create a branch. Create a branch. Remove first start on Aspire. Okay. I'm not going to completely remove it, but because we're on Aspire, it should do the migration first. So it decides to put the first start configuration in here. See if I can remember where that is. There's first start configuration, right? Because it doesn't have configuration because the database migration hasn't run. Possible solution, I could bring over the database migration project and let it run the database migration. Excuse me. I could do that. Probably not a terrible solution. Right, because this is included. Come on now. Oh, come on now. Right, this is routed to. I was looking for exactly that. If should start first configuration, if that's true. If it's not configured. Is configured comes out of tags app factory is configured, which starts off as false. This is created up front and it tries to get a connection to a database. And if there's a problem connecting to the database, it says unable to initialize, and we get thrown into false configuration here. Not terrible to have here, right? We're kind of forcing it here and saying initialize configuration. Here's the provider. Let's put a break in here and see exactly what that error is that it's hitting. Right, because it's coming through. It's trying to initialize the configuration here. Right, and current is a database configuration, so it's trying to do this. It's going to go get a connection and try and connect to that database and then create a configuration table. So we're not too far off on this. We're not too far off. Here we go. Let's spelunk down into this. I thought the change we put in there would shut this off and would allow it to always connect because it has a Postgres database available to it. We'll find this. Here we go. So there we are. We hit that exception, and the exception is unable to connect to configuration database. The tags app DB does not exist. So let's look at the stack trace. It's on initialize configuration. Okay. So it's down in here. Oh, come on now. Jump back over to the database one. And it's saying that the database does not exist. All right, so we're trying to go get connection and return a connection with that connection string. Yeah. Connection. So that is okay. That should be okay also. While this is... go ahead, finish doing your thing. Right, I should be able to jump... Thanks. Into pgadmin, I should see the Postgres database out there. There it is. Yeah, no tables. And the error... Come on, get to that. Go back to the error. Says database tags app DB does not exist. Well, okay. We don't have the migrations being performed in here. So actually, wait a sec. 1 second. Hang on. It's right there. It's setting up the database, and then it's setting up SecurityDB. Neither of those are created. I think the easy way to solve this is it's not just a timing problem, but I don't have the migrations being run right now. Right? There's the providers, there's the tests. The database migrations aren't being run at all. So what I can do is I can force the database migrations to be run. I actually do that for Aspirify, Dr. Cox. So let's bring over the database migration project, and let's bring over the wait for capability. So I've done both of those in Aspirify. I can copy and paste that into this. So I will reach into Aspirify, the data migration service. I thought, yeah, there is a TagZap database migration. What? I already started doing this. Existing project. I already started doing this. What the? Fingers in the wrong place. Here, this one. Yeah, and it's exactly what I was doing. Look, Aspirify is referenced in here. And dependencies, projects, yep. That's exactly what I was doing. It's like I knew I had to do this already, and I just didn't do it, so I needed to do it, but I should have done it, and I didn't. And now I'm doing it. TagZap service defaults, and... I need that one and that one. I think. Right, because Storage Postgres has... Yep, TagZap context for the actual stuff. And security just has the migrations. Oh, no. I'm going to have add a reference to the web project, aren't I? Because it's in the Blazor project. This security context. And that's going to be weird. Where the heck is security context? It's in TagZap security. Okay. Close everybody else. And the project thinks it's called Aspirify Data Migration Service. What? Yeah, it didn't get renamed. Alright, this is exactly what I was working on. Alright. I want to manage package references, project references. Storage Postgres. No, I want security. Yeah. Is it possible to import a model from an existing database? Oh yeah. Is it possible to reference a CS proj that are in different solutions? Yes, Acid Bath, you absolutely can do that. I'm going to rename this. to TagZap Data Migration Service. Ta-da. Yeah. I should just rename it. No, just TagZap Migration Service. Okay. So this becomes security. Security context, security DB context, something like that. I forget what it's called. It's a thing. Security context, that one. There we go. Get connection string to security. Is that what I called it? Security DB. I want to centralize those names in the worst way. But I'm not going to for right now. And this should be... No. Not NPG SQL Entity Framework. Manage NuGet packages. I guess I'm okay. Because it's just running the... Right? And this should be security context. And it's just doing a migration. So we're going to do the same thing then with... Right? Except this is going to be TagZap context. And the name of that database is TagZapDB. There you go. So now I'll go back over to Worker. So now the migration service where it does... Right? There it is right there. Start the activity. Stop the application after it. I'm going to start another activity. And do the other one. Right? Right here. TagZap context. Do the migration. Now, I think here don't I have to tell it where to find the migrations because it's in a different project? I thought there was a thing here where I had to specify, right, something like this. Options, migrations assembly, and I need an assembly name. Oh boy, here we go. So here's where I thought I cheated a little bit before. Not gonna lie, I cheated a little bit before. Take this, add that as a dependency. Right, TagZap security. All right, fine. And it's the migrations are right there. So I can say security context model snapshot. This thing. Oh gosh. Type of on that. Give me that using statement. Dot. Something like that, if I remember correctly. Because TagZap context, where this one is, has its migrations in the same class library, so I think I'm okay there. Let's give it a shot. Oh, yep. Good. So it's starting up. Okay. Now, I didn't include the migrations project. You fool! You forgot the... Backup and app host. So, database service. There we set up all the database stuff. But we also need to set up... Right. Builder, add project. It doesn't have the database migration project reference, so we need to add a reference to migration service. Projects, migration service. And I'll call it just migrations. Something like that, I guess. I could do the wait for bit in here. I don't know. You're a SQL developer first, so you're trying to learn? Build your tables, views, procedures first. Yes, you can. So take a look at .NET EF. There's a command you can run at the command line. .NET EF, and it's, I forget, it's reverse engineer. There you go. .NET EF database. No. What was it? Context? DB context. There you go. Scaffold. Right? If you do that, it'll generate all your entities and things on your database context from what you have in the database. So, .NET EF DB context scaffold. I have some Aspirifies floating around in there. I thought I cleared them up. Aspire hosting, that's okay. Yeah, get rid of these. Okay. So now it should start it and do the migration and shut things off. So, Entity Framework is awesome. It's a pain to do in another language. So what I do, I mix Entity Framework with Dapper, so that I can do stored procedures and things very lightly and very quickly. So I didn't see the migrations in there. There it is, migrations. Done. It ran the migrations. Back over here. If I restart this, right, this is where the wait for bit comes in. Oh, you should wait for it. Yeah, wait for the thing. Where is it? Show me. But it just scaffolded. Scaffolded? So now it should complete and run. And actually have the database there. There we go. So I don't have a problem bringing over the wait for. Right. That was a feature that we had in Aspirify also. I put it in app host extensions here, and yeah, here's this series of features that will wait for it to start. So I fully expect this to turn into a NuGet package from the Aspire team. But for right now, I'll just copy the source code around. So let's add existing projects. We'll rename this. Bring that in. There we go. Namespace, Aspire Hosting, I believe. Yeah. So now back up into app host. I'm going to add that as a project reference. But, right, we have to turn off it thinking that it's an Aspire. What? Yeah, I forget right there's an Aspire indicator you hang off of this thing. I forget what it is. To say, hey, don't turn this into a project reference. A project that we can run with Aspire. Sure, open in Notepad. Thanks. Thanks so much. Is Aspire project resource. Right there. Hey there, UNESCO.
Janice7 just resubscribed for 29 months.
Thank you so much. And I'll make another donation to a charity. Much appreciated. So now I can, in here, I can do wait for it to be running. No, I want to wait for completion on DB. No. I need to return the migration from this. Out, iResource Builder. This is a project resource. So I'll just change this to migration. Out var migration. Right? So I've got this nice, hey, go add the database, and I'm going to receive back from the database these three things as out variables. So now it's not wait for completion of that, wait for completion of the migration service. Then go start this. So let's change that location again. Rerun it. Did I ever get the HTTP response caching issue resolved? No. I actually have that as an open question I need to talk to the ASP.NET team about. There's definitely something there that is misbehaving. So there it's starting. You can see the website is waiting for the migration. See, the migrations are running. Done. That finished. That the website's running. Really? What did the migrate? Ooh. Database wasn't running. Yeah. Okay. So this we need to wait for DB. Wait for security DB. Why didn't you format? No. Format document. Edit, advanced, format document, Control ED. Those should have lined up. Try it again. And so far, so good. Okay. Now the migration's waiting, running the migrations. There it is. Yeah, you gotta wait for the database to be running before you run the migrations. Now that they're done running this, and now I should have everything connected properly. One more time with feeling. Right? So I'm updating my data volume, which effectively says, hey, here's a new disk for you to save the database to. So we end up with a blank database to get everything started. Run this one more time. Everything should start up. No first start configuration because the database migrations are applied. And we have our first database sitting out here. Here it comes. Running, database started. Now migrations are starting, they're running. We can look at the logs, creating everything properly there. Shutting down. Website starting up. And there it is. Perfect. So, all right. So let's jump up here. We're going to add app host extensions. And we're going to add our database migration project. Go back to program. Get rid of that. Added migration projects and wait processes at startup. That'll build everything, and that should take care of the issue you were running into, DGen1. So head back over here, pull requests. I'd like a new pull request, please. Thank you. That's right. Create that. And it'll go build. Thank you. All right. While that's building, yes, let's take a look at some of the issues and see what else we want to change here. Hide messages from certain users. Redis caching. I don't know about Redis caching. I don't know about that one. Replace the users table with a quick grid. That would be easy to do. But let's do this one first. Hide messages from users. And quite frankly, the other half of this is getting the YouTube provider working so that we can hook up to YouTube and say, hide the Restream bot. Now, Adam from Adam Learns Code on Twitch was saying that the YouTube folks were very responsive to his request and giving lots more requests to interact with YouTube. Because if we can interact with YouTube and get the data from YouTube, when we're in Restream like we are right now, we're broadcasting to folks on YouTube as well. Instead of getting messages from YouTube folks with the Restream bot indicator, it'll actually be your avatar, your name as who's delivering the message and not the Restream bot, which then also makes it easier for us to moderate the YouTube messages coming in as well. So I think we got to submit a YouTube a YouTube application here as well. So that's a thing. Requesting an increase in quota is an easy process, and they're very responsive, which is very un-Google-like. Yeah. Is it Gryet? Okay. Any thoughts on the Odin project? I'm not familiar with the Odin project. Your career in web development starts here. Oh? Tell me more. In the last 3 months, you've learned iOS development and want to start learning web development on the side. Okay, so this is somebody who put together a series of training material. 1.3 million learners, founded in 2013. So it's been running for 10 years, 11 years. But it doesn't say who this is. Okay. Kevin Mullum, Cody Lloyd. Why does that name sound familiar? But I don't recognize most of these folks. Maintainers. I don't recognize most of these folks either. No. Alumni. Yeah. I'm always interested in and want to help folks that are building education platforms. With the best curated online tutorials. Now you're just asking me to go in and critique you. Foundations, really? Git Basics, HTML Foundations, CSS. So there's Web Basics. Okay. Full stack Ruby on Rails, full stack JavaScript. I thought you said you learned iOS. Like, where's the iOS? I don't see iOS in here. I see Node, React, Ruby, Ruby. They've got a Discord server. They've got a GitHub. What's on the GitHub? 7,400 followers. Odin bot for the Discord. Okay. Ruby, Ruby, React. Magic 8 Ball project. Yeah. Right, you learned iOS. You've learned iOS dev. You're looking at them for web dev. I got you now. I'm not familiar with the actual content. Teaching Emmett right off the bat. Wow. Emmett's not something I would teach that early. And SVG off the bat. Can't say I agree with... Wait, this is intermediate HTML concepts. Well, wait a sec. Where's basic? Okay. There it is. HTML foundations. Not bad. I like the topics. clean code for JavaScript? I didn't know that was a thing. Indentation and line length. Wow, they're really getting into... Not bad. Are the courses free? Donation. Sounds like a good start. I wouldn't be opposed to folks trying that and hearing more about it. So I'm going to go merge in this change, which I already had over here, and I should have just done over here. Merge it. Yes. So that'll build and deploy. So yeah, it looks like a pretty extensive curriculum that they've been building and growing. So yeah, I would definitely check it out. Hello. Oh, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. So I was talking about doing hiding messages, and then this would also lead to submitting a YouTube expansion of requests for increase in the API limits. Let's see if we can start over there. Request API limit increase, right? Quota calculator. Yeah, how do I increase the quota? Audit and quota extension form. So, ask you about your business, your API client, your API client's access to and usage of YouTube API services. Continue to fill out this form if you are requesting additional API quota or a general compliance audit, or you are completing a periodic audit. Yeah, sure. This form. This form. This form. I don't think they know how this form works. You make freaking Google. Yes. My full legal name. My organization's name. Yeah. GitHub.com, Fritz and Friends. Tags app. I don't have an address. I'll give you the P.O. box. Contact email address. That's me. We make tools that allow streamers to be able to better interact with live stream viewers. Google representative email address. No, don't have one. Content owner ID. Don't have one. Have I undergone an audit? No. Is there any way in which your client use of UTIP? No. Perhaps you missed that first part. Your API clients. The name of your app or website. Tags app. List all the project numbers. It's in the Google Cloud Console. I do have in the... Now, notice they didn't give me a link for the Google Cloud Console there. No. Go find that. Am I open about what the T stands for? Trustworthy. No. There it is. Tags app. Project number. Project number. There it is. This one. Is this publicly or privately available API client? What does that mean? It's internal. The Tags app application requests data from live chat data from YouTube repeatedly, I'll say, in order to provide a near real-time interaction with viewers of a live stream. The data retrieved is cached in our database for presentation and analysis. Where can we find each API client? I'll give you the GitHub. I'll give you the GitHub right into that, which is source YouTube chat. There you go. If there is a login required to access the API client, please provide a demo account. I can't. And no, there isn't. Does your API client commercialize? No. Choose the option that best resembles your API client's use case. Social listening. Yeah. It is a bit of a live streaming tool, but it's more social listening. Live streaming API, I believe. Primary audience, creators. One. Because it's only going to be me. Users read the cached data delivered from the API so that we don't have to make repeated requests to YouTube for chat data, for the same chat data. So, does my API client use multiple projects to access YouTube APIs? No. Does this API client create, access, or use any metrics derived from YouTube data? Not currently, but in the future. So I'm going to say no. In the future, I might say, hey, look, C# Titan posted 5 times on YouTube. I don't know. But not currently, no. Maybe in a periodic audit that might change. Does this API client display data from or provide features or services from multiple platforms? Yes. Do you provide any type of reports using YouTube API data? Well, now I do. I just created that, yes. How long do I store YouTube API data? 3 to 12 months. 30 to 90 days. That sounds better. How often do you refresh that data? Never. Does this API client allow users to authenticate with their Google credentials? Yes. When Tags app is used, moderators may log in with their Google credentials to access the application. They haven't even asked me what Tags app does yet. Here it is. Send documents, design documents, relating to your implementation, access, integration, and use of API. Like, choose files, but they want one file smaller than 10 megabytes. Name of your API client. What API project number? Okay, this is the problem I had before. You're asking me the exact same question that you asked right there. It's the same question again. Sure. Daily usage pattern. Being able to request new live chat messages once a minute for an entire day. And I have no idea what that is. Twitch is on... when Twitch takes vacation, they won't approve... they'll send messages, hey, we're going to pause approving for a certain period of time because we're on vacation. I believe they're back in July. And I appreciate that they give you some notice that, hey, we're not going to approve applications between these dates. I appreciate that they tell you that and why. Like, how can you argue with somebody taking vacation? On the other side of that, though, is, don't you have more people working for the company that can do this also? So there's that. So I don't know what the quota there is. YouTube live chat. Now, quota. Yeah, there we go. Quota calculator. Sure. Because I'm going to request... I don't even know what these things are. Man, I forget where this is. I thought it was in a different area. Live streaming API. Don't mind if I do. Where's that one? Right, I want to do it's a live stream, it's like a live chat request. Right? Well, these are wonderful headings here that I can't click. Like, okay. Where did API reference? No. I don't see streams in here. I'm not clicking anything, and it's just taking me away from there. Feels bad, man. In here, there's configuration, get content, live chat message resource. Yeah. I'm trying to get live chat from Google. So they call it live chat, and it's not over here. I'd love to. I don't want to search for content. No. Live chat. Okay. Live chat messages. There are no guides. There are no tutorials. There are no samples. There's... What is this? Oh, Google. Yes, list live chat messages. Where's the quota? I don't want super chat, I want live chat. And I do want to include... YouTube live chat messages API. Oh, I did typed quote again instead of quota. That's where I just was. That's the quota calculator. Yep, here's somebody complaining about exactly that back in 2021. It's a known documentation issue. The number of quota points consumed by a live chat messages list request is 5 points, according to Delicious Avocado. Five-point factor for chat message list. So 10,000 points, 1 request a second, 60 minutes means you only get 33 minutes. No. If a live stream runs for 24 hours a day, how many live chat messages can you request? 5 points a request, 10,000 points a day, 24 hours a day, 36. That's 43 seconds per request. So I'd like to make requests. Yeah, I'd like to be able to make requests once every 5 seconds. So if we take that and go the other way here, let's open the calculator. Right, so we get 10,000 points currently. So, right, if we in a 24-hour day, right, there's 3,600 seconds. In a 24-hour day, there's 3,600 seconds. No. There's 3,600 seconds in an hour. 86.4 seconds in a day. If I want to be able to make a request once every 5 seconds, I want to be able to make 17,280 requests. However, it's 5 points. They cancel each other out, and we're back to 86,400. We get 10,000 requests off the top. I'd like to request an increase of 76,000. Let's just call it an increase of 80,000 points. Did I close the form that I was working on? That's the Odin project. Is it? Where did I? Or did I just navigate away? No. I navigated away. Okay, we'll do this again. We'll do this again. Sure, I'll do this. GitHub Fritz and friends. I'll give the P.O. box, which you can find just below. It is here. And this. Ugh, I gotta key all this in. We make tools that allow live streamers and live video events to better interact with viewers. I don't have those. No audit. No. Tags app, and the project number is this over here. It is internal use only. Tags app makes repeated requests to the YouTube live chat messages list API to get new messages from viewers of live streams. Where can we find each API client? So we'll give you a link to GitHub, and it was right, we had a right there. I'll give you the source code. Tags app is an open source application. Let's make that clear. If there's a login required, nope. Does your API client commercialize? Nope. Live streaming tools? No. Social listening. Specify all. No, I'm going to change that to live streaming tools. Data API, live streaming API, I think. Creators. How many users use it? 1. Users read the cached chat messages retrieved from YouTube for moderation and interaction during a live streamed event. There we go. Does it use multiple projects? No, just one. Does your API client create, access, or use any metrics? No, not yet. Does this API client display data from, provide features or service across multiple platforms? Yes. Do you provide any type of reports? I do now. Let's say 30 to 90 days. How often do we refresh? Never. Does this API client allow users to authenticate? Yes. Moderators who interact with the data can log into Tags app with their Google account. And it wants design documents. I don't have those right now. Acknowledgement, like, I'll write something up and submit that later. Acknowledgement, yes, I do. If you have a demo account, sure. Yeah. I thought there was a request of how much you wanted incremented. I thought there was an increase. I don't see it. Maybe it's because I didn't fill in the first form? No. It's a live streaming tool. Let's make this 5, including moderators. There we go. Which API client? Tags app. The project number is this. Yep, data API 80,000. Sounds like a good number. I would like to be able to pull live stream chat data once every 5 minutes for live streams that may run as long as 24 hours. We fetch data. We fetch live chat data and share it on screen in lower thirds, and moderate it and share it on screen in lower thirds. That's simple enough. 5 minutes or 5 seconds? 5 seconds. Did I write? Oh, yeah. Thank you. What functionality would I be lacking? We would only be able to fetch data once a minute and still stay within YouTube quotas. This would significantly reduce the effectiveness of interacting with a live audience. Our interactions on Twitch are immediate, and viewers prefer this experience. Just to give them a little nudge. What potential workarounds would you use to compensate for less quota? We would not interact with YouTube as frequently. In order to allow viewers to in order to allow our API to collect viewer responses less frequently, in a less timely manner. How's that? And then we did all that acknowledgement, and I need to do this file upload of, well, tell us. Please upload a detailed screencast. So, hang on. They want a design document. And they want a screencast. But it needs to be one file. 10 megabytes. Am I doing this wrong? Am I doing this wrong? What happens if I just say submit because I gave them the source code as a link? Minimum 100 characters. Okay. Our primary tool, Tags app, allows live stream producers to view messages across several platforms, moderate them, and share them as a pop-up message on screen. Let's just say it like that. This field is required. Yeah, it wants one file. So what if I just write a text document that says this is open source, all source code is available. Tags app is an open source application with all source code available for contributors and providers to review. We have created multiple providers for various social media networks, social media services, including Mastodon, X, Twitch, and YouTube. Oh, let's add Blue Sky in there. You can review all of our C# source code for the YouTube provider at, let's say, Tags app polls these services repeatedly in order to present message content on a unified dashboard for moderators and pop-up messages for live stream hosts and viewers to interact with, let's say. And all of the source code for YouTube is right there. And I'll just save this into here, and I'll call this YouTube doc. Right, that's probably not where I wanted to put it. It's probably not where I wanted to put it. Right, I put it there. Put it in the doc folder, man. There it is right there. So I'll go back to, no, not there, here. And I'll just upload that document. It's less than 10 megabytes. And we can talk more with them about it. Where's the stupid file upload button? No. There it is. And doc, YouTube doc. Hey, there you go. Look at that. And it's less than 10 megabytes. Minimum 200 characters. I only submitted 124. With the 10,000 points allocated, write out the full 10,000 and add decimal points in there. Points allocated. I would only be able to capture messages for, it said 33 minutes if it was every 1 second. I'm doing 5 seconds, so 5 times 33 is 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours is 270 minutes for about 2.5 hours, let's say. Hey, we hit our minimum number there. Minimum 200 characters. We fetch live chat data, moderate it, and share it on screen in lower thirds. I still need another 130 messages. Characters. No, how do we use it today? We fetch this data. We currently avoid connecting to YouTube directly and instead use Restream to share content from YouTube to other providers that are more permissible in accessing live chat data. I spelled permissible wrong. There we go. How's that? Is that better? Hey, there we go. All right. And we'll see if YouTube writes back. So we've given them access to all the information, and we'll find out if they can accommodate us. And according to Adam, they should be able to. So that would be fantastic to be able to do that and interact and get that live chat data available for us to present and interact with. Okay. The other feature that kind of that this would help with is the Restream bot. Have a good one, Reg. So you see the Restream bot. Those of you watching on YouTube, you see the Restream bot posting messages from Twitch over into YouTube. I really don't like their new live stream layout. I really don't. Because they got rid of all information about the live stream from the screen. Like, you can't see anything about the live stream. There's the title, the channel, all of that stuff is gone on their new layout. So this is, well, I don't want to show the Restream bot. I want to be able to hide that. And same thing with the occasional Stream Elements message that's popping up, right? Like, we don't need to see those messages on here. Right now I have them moderated, right? I have them as a blocked interaction. So I'm going to, I'm just checking my schedule here. We're good. So we're going to expand the block capability so that you can also say hide entirely these folks. And we'll be able to, yeah, just hide them from the screen. We're still downloading the data, but when it goes to get put on screen, don't show it. So let's build that feature. I'll assign myself so that it's clear that I'm working on this. Back over here, back into... Right? Everything merged there properly. Yeah. So... that's fine. I'll jump over to main. Fix, remove, first start on Aspire. So this means other developers should be able to jump in and build and work with TagsApp now because everything is .NET Aspire. We still have to break up the services so they're running on a API. They're running on a worker thread behind the scenes and sending messages back and forth. We got time on that one. We've got time till we need to do that one. This I'm okay with going and taking care of. Pull the upstream main, push that, and this is feature hide users. There we go. All right. Added YouTube doc for quota expansion, quota increase. I don't know. That's fine. Cool. Next step. Let's figure out how we want to hide users. So hiding user is a little bit different from blocking a user. But can I use the same blocked user capability? Right? Like, where is it? There is blocked users, right? So we have an ID, provider, username, blocking user, block date time, expiration date time. So you can say block them and it expires at this time. But I think we want to add now an additional feature that says hide them entirely. Okay. And I think, yeah. Right, so we have the generic domain object blocked user here. So let's add a, not a bool. I think we want an enum. Hello. Toxin. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you joining us. Blocked user status, no. Blocked user capabilities. Right? So I think there's just moderated. Let's do that. Hidden. And there might be other things in the future. Right? We might want to say, well, they're blocked, but they're muted. Like, yeah, something. Like, hidden, I think, is the next level here. So, blocked user capabilities, and it's moderated by default. I think that's where we want to go with that. So now I need to go back to the Postgres implementation of that. Where is it? Where is it? Find it. Yeah. No, that's not the Postgres one. There it is. So we need to add this field, which is going to be public blocked user capabilities. Capabilities. Looks good. And when we're converting things coming back, thank you, Copilot. All right, and this is sitting here inside of tags app context. So I need to add a migration so that this knows about that capability. Fortunately, we wrote a database migration tool. So let's go tags app, Blazor. Oh yeah. Actually, can we do tags app, storage, Postgres? Can we do .NET EF migration add? Because it's the only context that's in here. And let's say add blocked user capabilities.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Let's see if it finds it and is able to do this one. It should, I think. Nope. EF, is it migrations? Did I misspell that? I bet I did. I bet I did. No. What if I just said .NET package add, Microsoft, entity framework core design? What if I did that? Well, that didn't work. What? Yeah, .NET package add, or .NET add package. Got it backwards. Package. Go, 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 go. And now add the migration. See if that works. Okay. And no. Womp womp. I think I'm going to need to come back in from the other side. From the web project. Feels bad, man. So now, .NET EF... Actually, didn't I write a script for this? It's up another one. Add migration. Add Postgres. Yeah, go to migration. Go. Get up there. CD, scripts. Yeah. That's the right one. Do that. Add migration. Add blocked user capabilities. Do that. One more time. Fine. Blazor. Tells you how much I've used this. Do it again. Come on. You can do it. Come on. I think we get this. No. There was a way that we did this before. No. Security context, but it's in the same project. Yeah. Okay, and the error it's throwing is there was a way around this. This is... It's trying to do database configuration. Yeah, this is in the configure stuff that... We need to be able to escape that. Right, it's... in here. But it's buried down in there where it goes and adds all the Postgres stuff. Or is it down in this one? No, that's the social media providers. Oh boy. Yeah. It's right in there. DB configure tags app 62. Because it's trying to get a connection string and it doesn't know what the connection string is. And what if? What if we put together a bogus application? What if we put together just a little bogus application that referenced this? And was there strictly for me to be able to scaffold? Right? Wait a sec. This can't create because it's got that. If I get rid of this temporarily, right? And we go to source, tags app, storage, Postgres. And we do the add migration here. Right? It should... 15 minutes, we're good. No database provider. On configuring. I don't have an on configuring in here. So let's... Right? We can say options builder. No. Use NPG SQL. Try that. Says it's done. There it is. Fantastic. It's kind of a crummy way to do it, but it worked. I feel like there's a conditional compilation we can put in there to do that. Let me let that fly. DGen1 says, do I need to set some configuration somewhere? Unable to connect to Twitch. Yes. This is... It should start the Twitch relay for you. The Twitch relay project. And you should be... And then it'll give you a... It'll give you a link that'll allow you to connect out there. Connect to the Twitch relay, and you'll need to set up your own service to listen to Twitch. Your own client to listen to Twitch. So, database migration says it finished. Did it? Did it? Select one, select one, select. I'm reading here. I'm looking for an alter. There it is. Not null, default 0. Right, because blocked user capabilities... No, moderated equals 1. should have set default as 1. I should have seen that and picked that up. Darn it. Can I help you set up your Visual Studio Code? What setup do you need? Let's... Where's the database context? Not that one. Not that one, this one. Flip-flop those again. Right. Excuse me. So let's put blocked user in here. No, I'm not going to do alternate key. That's not bad. That's not bad. Can we say has default? No. No. It's on the property. Model builder, entity, PG blocked user. Capabilities. Has default value. Can we do that? Let's put some breakpoints on that. Blocked user capabilities defaults, right? Yeah, if you want to integrate with Twitch, you need to set up a Twitch client ID and a client secret. So you go to dev.twitch.tv. You need to create an integration. It'll give you the keys then that you can drop in there. Configuring all of those various providers is some documentation that we definitely need to create at some point. So I'm just about out of time here. I've got about 10 minutes left. Let's make sure that this works, and then I can put that checkbox on the blocked user screen. Maybe it's a drop down for the moderation capabilities that we're applying to these blocked users. And on the filter, when we go get data, if somebody is hidden, we remove them entirely. So there's wabang. Oh, right. I forgot to, not that one. Flip this back. Right, there's probably a better way to leave that, but hey. Right, so the defaults, alter column, default value 1. There we go. So when this gets delivered, nobody will see the old 0, 1 in there, because it'll immediately get applied and go away. So, updating, running. Database migrations. altered. It added that unique for provider username. That's going to be an issue. That alternate key isn't right. Did I just close Visual Studio? How did I close it? Yeah, that's going to be an issue. Take that back out. That alternate key, no. No. No, that's remove blocked user alternate key. Do that, push. Cool. So now over to the blocked user screen. Right, so up in here, components, admin, pages, blocked users. Add a select to choose the blocked user capabilities. Come on, Copilot. Come on, Copilot. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to bind that to right, so supply parameter from form name. Yep, looks good. Give me that. That's what I'm talking about. That's fantastic. That is so good. Block new user. Users. Selected provider. Users to block. That's to reload. No, we're going to set this back to moderated. So here, block user. We need to update that, but I am out of time. Right? Yeah, there's... Right, I need to extend this. Oh, that's fancy. And quite frankly, I like this on the right, and I've turned it off. That's why everything feels weird. Yep. Ow. Come here, you. Thank you. And under block user... Right, I can do that real quick. I can do that real quick. Right, and right here, I just say, thank you. Oh, love it. Okay. I'm not done yet, but I got all those capabilities wired up. Yep, add all the things. Added block user capabilities. And this has me set up so that I can add that. I have that combo box now added on the block user screen. I need to add that to the list of block users so we can see, well, who's hidden, who's just moderated, and we'll be able to then filter those appropriately. Actually, I don't even need to filter them. I need to filter them appropriately coming into the moderation screen and the waterfall so that if they're hidden, they don't even come into the moderation screen. They're completely removed. So, love it. Oh my gosh. We got through a bunch today. We got through a bunch of stuff today. Not gonna lie. Feeling really good about that. Right? We spend a lot of time talking about the amount of effort that goes into managing and putting together an open source project, and how the ability for folks to be able to build and work on it is something that not everybody can do. Not everybody can work on open source projects. There's a bunch of features that we tweaked and tuned inside of TagsApp, including the ability to generate a report of messages from TagsApp. We fixed the startup so that there's now a database migration process in there, so that actually I didn't even look. So that as folks start up TagsApp, Aspire will automatically scaffold the database for them. And now we're adding the ability to block users and say, I don't even want to see their messages come through on moderation. Hide them entirely. And this is going to work great for the Restream bot that we do want to use to send messages between all the different services we're using. And we want to be able to... Oh, kittens.
Fierce Kittens just resubscribed for 66 months. If I punch bicep in the taint, will it make me feel better?
I just wanted to hear that message. No, it won't. You caught me right as I'm wrapping up here. So, we submitted our application for an expansion of our YouTube points, our YouTube quota, so that we can reintroduce YouTube chat and use it on future streams, so that folks that are chatting on YouTube, your avatar, your proper screen name flows through and appears as a YouTube chatter on TagsApp. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure writing code with you. Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network so we can set up a raid. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, I've got lots of great videos over here that you can check out. I encourage you to go and see what's there. You know what? We got to raid somebody who's streaming a lot this month. We're going to raid our friend InstaFluff. Thank you so much, friends that are watching on Twitch. Like I said, if you're on YouTube, there's lots of great videos here on the channel. I'll be back for a little bit on Thursday. I'm not streaming tomorrow. I'll be streaming for a little bit Thursday morning, because Thursday afternoon, my time, I'm going to be hosting the Let's Learn.net Aspire event live on the Visual Studio channel on Twitch, on the .net channel on YouTube. I hope you join me for that. All right? Get ready to say hi to my friend InstaFluff, and I will see you Thursday. Until then, I wish you good health and good coding. Take care. Listen to me, I'm a nice guy and all that. What the heck? I can't believe it. What? Who would do such a thing? Oh my gosh.